Welcome to The Explainer. For years, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were basically Hollywood's golden couple, right? Just untouchable. But lately, it feels like that perfect picture is starting to fall apart. There are lawsuits, crazy rumors. So today, we're going to dig in and figure out what's really going on.
Okay, so let's jump right into the juiciest part, the rumor that absolutely blew up the internet. We're talking about a supposed, honest-to-goodness physical fight between Deadpool and Iron Man. Yep, Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr. on the set of the new Avengers movie. I mean, it spread like wildfire. But did it actually happen?
And look, the rumors got super specific. One version said they were trading insults about their wives, and that's what started the brawl. Another one tried to say it was all about Reynolds' ex, Scarlett Johansson. But here's the thing. The official story just completely torpedoed the whole thing. Sources for big outlets like People and TMZ came out and were like, nope, they were totally clear. Not only is there zero bad blood between them, they've literally never even met in person.
So that's the big question, right? If the fight was completely made up, why did so many people believe it? What made the idea of Ryan Reynolds getting into a fight on a movie set seem, well, kind of believable?
Well, the answer seems to point to a totally different conflict, one that was 100% real. This quote right here, it's straight from a legal complaint filed by Justin Baldoni, the director and co-star from Blake Lively's movie It Ends With Us. And this is where we find a documented backstory that's just full of tension.
So yeah, this whole penthouse showdown seems to be the key to everything. It basically painted a picture of Reynolds that, well, it made those other rumors sound a lot more plausible. So let's break down exactly what allegedly went down.
Okay, so the legal documents are really specific. It all apparently started with a pretty simple safety question. Baldoni, the director, was worried about his back and needed to know about a physical lift in a scene with Blake. But then, it's like a game of telephone gone wrong. The trainer tells Blake, Blake tells Ryan, and the next thing you know, there's this meeting where Reynolds supposedly just tears into Baldoni. And then Blake threatens to walk off the movie entirely. It's just a wild chain of events that points to a huge breakdown.
And a fight like this doesn't just stay on a movie set, not when you're this famous. The details that started coming out really kicked off a huge shift in how people saw them. For the first time, that picture-perfect image was under some serious pressure.
And once that first crack appeared, boy did people start looking closer. Suddenly, fans were noticing things. They saw that photos of Blake seemed to have been wiped from Ryan's Instagram. That classic funny birthday post he always does for her, it just never happened. And you could feel the vibe shift online, from everyone loving them to people calling their whole shtick cringy. So when a photo of Blake finally did pop up later, a lot of people were like, classic damage control.
But it's not just their public image that's taken a hit. This whole mess has reportedly cost them a really big friendship. One of the most high-profile friendships in Hollywood, actually. Yep, we are talking about Taylor Swift. And Swifties, they basically become detectives here, piecing together this whole timeline that points to a serious falling out. So it seems like it all kicked off when Taylor got dragged into the legal mess with a subpoena, which, yeah, she was reportedly not happy about. Then, when the whole world was celebrating Taylor's engagement news, Blake was radio silent online. Super weird. Now, fans are looking at song titles on her next album like Ruin the Friendship and Canceled, and, connecting the dots. And the final piece, Taylor herself went on a podcast and talked about her name being in headlines for stuff she has nothing to do with. Oof. A lot of people took that as a direct shot. So when you step back and look at it, it's pretty wild. In what feels like no time at all, the whole story around Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds has done a complete 180. They went from being the internet's absolute favorite couple to being tangled up in lawsuits, fight rumors, and, friendship drama with the biggest pop star on the planet.
And all of this really leaves you thinking, doesn't it? For so long, these two were masters of their own image. They were the witty, perfect, but somehow still relatable couple. But what their story shows us now is something bigger. It makes you wonder, in this world of social media, where a private fight can become a public headline overnight, how fragile is any celebrity image? Can that perfectly polished story ever really hold up when real life gets messy?